there's going to be such a surge in divorces.
Yeah, well,
Oh,
I got married, so that's a
you
weird
did?
one.
Oh my
Yeah,
God. Congratulations.
yeah, during this, yeah, pretty weird.
To who?
He's an Irish comic that I'd gone to London with and ended up here with, and
Is it Des
yeah,
Bishop?
yeah, that's hilarious. No, I think he has too many women to choose. So no, it's no, but his name's Mark O'Keefe. I look old in this light.
You
Let me
don't.
take my braids out. Okay, so yeah, it was pretty random. That's like a part of my quarantine journey, I guess.
That's so exciting.
Yeah, it's weird.
Can,
So because we've had to spend like, I mean, we were already together a lot, but like, now we're like together 24/7, and we were like, yeah, I think this is pretty much it. I mean, we had a whole plan. We were going to get married at the Fringe or whatever, but then, you know, everything got fucked up. And because he's Irish and I'm from America, if and when we had to leave Australia, we would get sent to
oh,
different countries.
yeah.
Yeah. So instead of like, we were just like, well, let's just do it now because we were going to do it in August. It's a very weird story.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
fascinated. And so had he
Yeah.
proposed prior to COVID?
Yeah, like in January is when we were like, let's get married. We were like I'd marry you. I'm sure. And so then we planned. Because both of us had shows going on at the Fringe this year. So what we were gonna do was, my venue. I had a show time. Like people usually take a day off, right? Like Tuesdays every week at the Fringe or something. So what
How,
we were gonna do is,
how long is the
yeah,
trip?
it's a month. Usually people go for a month. So we were going to take a Tuesday off and then tell all the people that we know, like, hey, my venue is giving away free alcohol during my show. So
Oh,
so we were going to get all these comics there and have champagne, and we'd be like, yeah, it's just champagne. And then we were going to like surprise them with a wedding,
that's
you
awesome.
know, but everything got fucked up because of the virus. So we were just like, let's just get married in Australia. Some fun. The fun thing about it was that everybody would be like, what the fuck is going on? You know what I mean? And we'd be like, you're just at our wedding,
It's very like Kardashian. It's very Hollywood to be like,
Yeah.
surprise.
Yeah. Except just like with a lot of broke international comedians.
I like that you lure them there with free booze because people that normally
Yeah.
get paid in alcohol.
That was the thing. I was like, how are we going to convince people to come? And I was like, oh, free alcohol. Like they'll all show up.
Free love? No. Free booze?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, now I'm married, but it's working out. It seems to be okay. If we did it this year, I would essentially get the EU citizenship. So I could, in theory, do comedy legally in any of those countries, and that was kind of like the, lure. I mean, because like otherwise, would I have been somebody to get married? Probably not. Like if he was American, it would be like I can be with somebody forever and not be married.
Yeah. In New York, we're also stunted. Like,
Yeah.
I'm in my mid 30s and I'm like, oh no, I couldn't have a relationship. No. I have a podcast to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
Love
for sure. Yeah, that was the weird thing about meeting him and everything all together, because I was just like, no, I fuck losers. That's like part of my thing. It's like it's at least 12 minutes of my act. Like
I don't
I'm
want
not
to
gonna
make
take
no act.
no, we got it because it took me a while to refine that. But it was just weird. The whole thing just was very random. I mean, like I pretty much had never met like a person that was like, it's just weird. Like it's just like this person that we're just very compatible.
That's awesome.
It's weird. It's a totally different mentality, like international comedy. New York, I feel like a lot of times people, I mean, like I hate to say it, but it's sort of like people are as nice to you as they feel like you'll make them look good or give them things,
Yeah. I hate that that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, the Zoom thing, I did one for somebody out in Australia who I had like stayed at his house for like a festival that I just did the tail end of. And he was like, will you do this show? It was right at the beginning of all this. And I was like, okay. It was just a 5-minute breakdown. Like it wasn't any of my jokes. It was just me being like, I mean, my career's over, right? And I'm like, are there people out there? And it was not, it wasn't for me.
Like your Jerry Maguire moment or something.
It was a low key meltdown. Yeah. I mean, it was definitely the beginning of like 5 weeks of like kind of shock and depression, you know, of sort of being like, wow, everything just stopped so quickly. And like all of these plans have just been like crushed up and like thrown in the garbage, you know?
I think the whole world feels like that right now. Anyway, but you mentioned shock, and I was looking up your Fringe show, and it was extremely well reviewed, and they were saying that you're like a female shock comic.
Yeah, something, I mean, you know, it's funny. It's weird because like I was doing the Fringe, and for the first few shows went really well, and then people stopped laughing, and I bombed like what it felt like a bomb. But then at the end of the show, I would make a ton of money. So I was like, what's going on? And I kind of realized that maybe for people, like it's a lot to hear my jokes, which are all like true. You know what I mean? Like I used to smoke meth. I managed a sex dungeon. I fuck a lot of losers. I didn't have a dad, you know, so all those things sort of make sense.
Whereas in New York, you're like, all right, yeah, like no one would blink an eye. But I guess also in the world, that's shocking.
Yeah, and I mean, it's weird. I found even for New York, you know, like a lot of bookers have been like, hey, maybe tone it down. And I'm like, I don't know how to tone down my personal experience so much. You know what I mean?
So I do know what you mean. I went to rehab for like fancy meth for Adderall abuse.
Fun, yeah. I know you.
Yeah, it sounds so like bougie and like, but I mean, it was legitimate. Like I like couldn't walk or read. Like I was extremely fucked up. Like I could have died. That's the whole
We're
game.
like, ha 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 ha. You know?
But then I really like your joke that you say, my friends say, oh, you must feel happier now that you're not drinking. And you're like, no, I mean, I feel.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that is the craziest thing to me. I stopped drinking. It was like a year ago, like a couple days ago, you know, and I didn't like put, yeah, which is like nothing I ever thought was like in my life trajectory. I loved drinking. I didn't quit for any reason other than I was just like not really having fun. So I was like, I'll take a month off. And then I just like never started drinking again.
So you were able to drink and not do meth? Because I had to stop drinking too, which was.
Oh, well, so like the meth thing, I was like 17. And I think that was like sort of a direct result of having very recently, like when I was 15, I ran away from home. And when I got caught, I got sent to a wilderness treatment center, followed by a Mormon therapeutic boarding school. Yeah. So it was like coming out of that second place was kind of like, I'm going to experience life the way I want to because it's my life, and I'm going to do my best to not, like, I don't want to fuck up my life. Like, I don't want to be like a meth addict, but I was like smoking meth pretty seriously for a while. And then I was like, oh, you know, I got into college in New York. I have to stop this. And I was able to just like stop doing it myself, but I basically had to stop hanging out with everyone that I had been hanging out with, you know, which was difficult, and like, you know, get off drugs, which was like also difficult, you know.
Yeah. So it's interesting because if it were me, if I got into NYU, and that's when I started selling Adderall because I was like, I mean, I got to keep up, you know, I'm in New York City now. Boom, boom.
You're like in your own business school then.
I know. I went for art school, stayed for the entrepreneurship. Yeah.